Hey guys, it's Shildoge here, and today I'm going to be looking at the ESPTiger, maybe it's ESportsTiger, I'm not sure. The ESPTiger Tang Pioneer. This is the red version. It's a pad that only comes in 480 by 400 millimeters. So yeah, with that being said, let's get straight into it. The surface is made from a blended composite fabric. Only other place I've seen that has mentioned the same kind of weaving process or fabric is ATK. At this point, I will go ahead and show a macro shot since I know last video I showed it a little bit later on in the video, so I thought I might do it a little bit earlier this time. It is definitely more on the control side of pads, but not nearly enough to be what is considered a mud pad. I do feel the friction when I'm starting or in the middle of motion, so it's not exactly like ice smooth glide, but the stopping power is definitely more akin to a control pad, so it's definitely a bit of an oddball of a mouse pad. The surface is pretty tactile, but light to the skin. I don't really have any skin irritation when using it, but it does have a naturally dry feeling. So when my hands are especially dry, I do notice there's a lot more texture than if my hands were, not dry, but just natural. There is no X and Y differential though, which is very nice. I don't have humidity issues, but on the topic of dry hands, I do sweat sometimes, and I do notice the pad becomes noticeably more grippy, which is not so fun. It's also not the most sleeve friendly pad, as if you can see when moving on the X axis, it's almost like my arm is on wheels, but then if I'm to move on the Y axis, there's a lot more feedback there. So, not exactly the most sleeve friendly in terms of mouse pads. The base, though, is probably my favorite part of the pad. It's listed as a polyurethane foam on their website. It is very pillowy, very nice texture. It's super sticky. I mean, I don't know if you can hear it, but I have to peel it off my desk. It's, like I said, the best part about this pad. It is definitely a good amount of plush. I haven't had experience with Xsoft mouse pads, but I think this is the closest thing I own to being an Xsoft. It is very pillowy, and you do have a scratching sensation if you press in hard enough with dot skates. So if you're stuck on using dot skates, then maybe this isn't the pad for you. It definitely hasn't gotten worse over time either, which is super nice considering the peeling off part is probably my favorite part of it. Yeah, it's not going anywhere. I mean, if I try to move it, I'm going to be moving my desk and my monitor before I move the pad itself. As for the quality, this is probably where the mouse pad starts to decline a little bit. The stitching itself is nice. It's pretty clean, though. I think my biggest complaints with it are, for one, the color is definitely darker than the pad itself, which isn't very nice. I wish it was a lot brighter. And also specifically on the part of the pad where I'm placing my forearm, the stitching is definitely starting to fray a good amount. So it is low profile, but also not as squishy as I would want it to be. The surface, it's definitely a bit of a dirt magnet. Sometimes it picks up debris pretty easily. And it's definitely not the type, I mean, you can see it on the camera, it's definitely not the type of debris that you can brush off super easily. You probably have to pick at it with your hands. But the art is really nice. I actually do like the art. It's anime, it's an anime style mouse pad, but the drawing itself is very nice. It's definitely not like this AI generated art. I say AI, but it's not AI generated. It's just art that people don't like. But this art, it's very bright, very colorful. I like it. I like the highlights. I just don't think the printing process itself does it justice. The reds and pinks specifically, I wish were a lot more bright, as in the website the image looks very bright, but this pad itself is just very flat coloring, especially as of lately. I feel like it's just gotten more flat over time after use. Um, as for the budget and if it's worth it, it did come in a flat box, which was super nice considering the shipping was free, so I'll try and get this whole thing on camera. It's a nice flat box. It comes in a separate flat box, so you technically get 2 boxes with this mouse pad. Yeah, shipping is free, super impressive. It also came with a few other things, notably a sticker, which I already put on my PC, like all the other stickers I don't care about. This weird, like, business card. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with this. I thought it was a sticker at first, which is why it's peeling off the corners. And also a pin, which I will not be wearing for obvious reasons. But it is good to know that they care. Very nice to know that they care. This pad is uncoated, but the printing process does definitely give it that dry feeling, or at least I think it does. There might be some sort of specifics that go into there, but that's my guess. I really loved this mouse pad at first, but after using it more and more, it's something that's become less gawk worthy. It's not that impressive, but for $32, and you do get 10% off if you sign up for their email, which is how I got it for that price. It's definitely not a bad pad whatsoever. It's nice and soft. I would say the base is the most noteworthy part. The base is amazing on this thing. But yeah, everything else is about as average as you can get for a mouse pad. I really wanted to love this pad. I really did, but some of the qualities, especially later on, began to show their side of things. So, but I will definitely be trying more of ESPTiger's products in the future, as I do think their art is very nice, and the pads themselves are pretty nice quality, but the packaging itself is especially a selling point. I mean, flat packaging is always great in a mouse pad. So, with that being said, I think that's everything I had to say today. Thank you so much for watching.